Next, we're gonna make our names into not just a normal bubble letter name, but create a nameplate with a border inspired by the artist Romero Brito. So Romero Brito is a Brazilian artist, painter, and sculptor. He combines elements of cubism, pop art, and graffiti into his work. He uses lots of big colors, lots of big, bold patterns as a visual expression of hope, dreams, and happiness. So you're gonna see some examples of his work here. Here's what he looks like. And currently he is 56 years old and he still lives in Brazil today. So now that we've seen some of his work, we are going to get our drawing ready for the nameplate. So before we do anything, we need to make a border around our name. Now, if you have a ruler, you can use a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can use the straight side of a book. So I'm gonna make my border come out a little bit. Remember, these lines don't have to be straight, but I want you to try your best. Now, if your book is not as long as your paper, it's fine. That's pretty straight to me. I'm gonna stop it there. And I'll scoot it over. Same thing up here. Line it back up. Finish it. Now we have a border. We don't need these lines anymore. I'm gonna get rid of them. Just like that. Now, before we start, I'm gonna create a couple of patterns. I'm gonna make a pattern sheet so I can know what I'm gonna put inside of my border and inside of each letter. So let's go grab a new piece of paper and start on that. All right, so I got a brand new piece of paper so I can come up with some patterns inspired by the art that I just looked at. I will also show you a visual of different patterns that we can use that are inspired by Mr. Brito. I'll upload this so you can see it later too. So I'm gonna come up with some pattern ideas. I'm gonna draw 9 boxes. I'm gonna call it Brito patterns. So for my Brito patterns, I know that he uses some hearts. I do use a pen, I know. He uses hearts a lot, different sizes. You see how all these are patterns? They all make sense. They're all in a certain order. They're not random. They're all purposely put on there. So here are my sample patterns for my Brito name. All right, now that I have done my patterns, I have my bubble letters ready. I am ready to get started. So I'm gonna start with a pen, because I feel brave today. I don't know, probably gonna regret this, but it's fine. If you don't feel brave, that's fine. You can always start off with a pencil first and then trace with pen. But I'm gonna start off and be brave. Here we go. I'm gonna trace my border first. I'll put this to the side very slowly. All right, now that I have my border, I am going to start sectioning off my border so I can put my patterns in different places. It's gonna be random, so I'm gonna put a line here, a line down here. If I wanna do a lot of patterns, I could do a lot of little lines, but I'm gonna spread it out a little bit. So these are all going to be different patterns all around that are inspired by the pattern sheet that I already made. Now it's time to section off my name. So I'm going to do lines again. These don't have to be straight lines. I'm going to get a little crazy with these lines, because why not? All right, so essentially I have 3 sections for each letter. I'm done with my pen, so I'm gonna put it back. Now, here comes my favorite part, the coloring. So I have my patterns, I have my sections, and I am ready to go. Done with that one. So with my patterns right next to me, I'm gonna grab my markers, and I'm gonna start thinking about, I could just use these, or I can use everything I got. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use these pastel markers and I'm gonna do everything I got. See what happens. And that is how it's done. I really love this. Well, get to making, friends. Bye.